Hello there guys and welcome to the review after Raw. Now I just want to say a quick little apology. It is going out on Thursday. We would have recorded it on Thursday. Life gets in the way and that's fine. I was busy with work. Saul also had other commitments. So it meant that on the Tuesday we weren't able to record. I was at work again on the Wednesday. So that was a no-go and we're both off today. So we've been able to record today.
Yeah, you're going to get it.
Yeah. At least it's been recorded. You know, we haven't forgot about it. It's just a couple of days late. You know, look, life gets in the way. Without further ado, welcome in Saul.
Thank you, mate. Glad to finally be doing it. Like you say, both had some commitments on, so better late than never for this.
Exactly, like I say, it will be going out, obviously, pretty much as soon as we've done this review. And then I'll be doing the one on Saturday, and then we should be back to Tuesday. It might be Tuesday night. I'm at work again. We'll figure it out as we go along.
Yeah, you'll get one though.
Oh yeah, you definitely get one.
Yeah.
We actually are coming from the KFC Centre in Kentucky, which Saul...
Finger licking good.
Yes, Saul actually just pointed out to me before this. It's a KFC Centre in Kentucky, so Colonel Sanders, we acknowledge you. That's not the right
and
gimmick.
you've been playing a Colonel Sanders dating simulator as well.
Which I do need to play again, but I'll be quite honest, it is a bit weird. A bit that way, you know. Anyway, so we start off with Monday Night Rollins.
Yep.
Now, personally, I love Seth's hair. I love the blonde. I don't know how you feel about it.
Makes him look a bit old, but I don't mind it.
That's fair, yeah. Yeah, he is an old git, to be fair to him. He's getting
10 years, hasn't he? 10 years in
it's mental.
WWE.
It is actually mental. 10 years. Same with Roman, obviously. Like, you wouldn't think of where we got to right now, where Dean Ambrose, obviously Moxley's been about on the scene before, but you think of Dean Ambrose, Seth, and Roman making their debut in WWE to lead to where they are now. That's 10 years ago. It is crazy. You know, Dean's had a kid in that time, Seth's had a kid in that time, and Roman's had 2 sets of twins in that time. So that's incredible.
The bloodline is growing.
Yeah, the bloodline is bloody growing and all. He's got 2 sets of twins. That must be... I'll tell you something, that is some good going. This is the first thing I'll say. I already knew about what was happening in the main event tonight, but what I didn't realise is that they... Just before the show on Monday, so on... I think it was on Friday, on SmackDown, they teased that Finn and Seth were gonna have a match on Raw. I'll see if I can... Yeah, Finn versus Seth, US title I've got right here for my SmackDown notes. So in my head, I was already thinking it's a US title match. Then it comes to just before the show starts, Twitter again, and Byron Saxton gives an announcement. Breaking news! The Seth versus Finn main event is going to be for the US title. And I kind of just went, well, I already knew that.
Yeah, not that breaking if they told you about that on SmackDown, is it?
I just wonder if they said Finn and Seth was having a match on SmackDown for Raw, and I just immediately went, oh, US title. Because it makes sense.
Because of the open challenge, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So, it was like, okay, right. So we know we're getting Finn and Seth. So I'm like, oh, I'm excited. Before Seth even gets to chant, Seth was talking, and he goes on about Theory's cashing.
Crowd were going, that was stupid.
That was stupid. Then we get a little thing that says Finn versus Seth is for the US title. And we get interrupted by Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
Big Bob, as one of the commentators called him.
Well, he's a big guy, isn't he?
No, he is, yeah.
That's fair enough.
And then whilst Bobby's in the ring, he talks about how he lost, and Seth is like, you've been on a bit of a mean streak recently. Is it because, you know, you lost to someone at Crown Jewel? Let me give this a go. Brock Lesnar. That was awful, but you get the idea. And Bobby's face was a fucking picture. It was beautiful. He's like, I'm gonna kill you in a minute, boy. And then Mustafa Ali interrupts.
Yep, not Brock Lesnar.
No,
which is what I thought they might be leading towards.
Yes. and it wasn't. So I'm like, oh, okay. Mustafa Ali interrupts, and as soon as he gets down to the ring, he's stood on the outside, and Bobby Lashley just goes, "Walk out before I hurt you." And you could hear Mustafa Ali goes, "I'm gonna regret this," and then he runs to attack Bobby Lashley. It's like, right, okay. So from that, Seth basically idles away. He's like, just runs. He's like, no, I'm out of here. Don't want none of this. And then we get them Bobby and Ali fighting.
I did like the way Seth sort of laughed to himself and then ran.
Yeah,
it's like, I'm leaving old Mustafa and Ali and Lashley to sort out themselves.
Yeah, this is between you guys. I'm out. Not for me.
Which is a bit like the stuff with the OC and Damage Control last week when they both came out. He just sort of laughed and legged it.
So they keep fighting. Bobby's got this. I don't know if it's a tattoo or it's a scar he's got on his chest. But he's got it taped over. So I don't know again if it's a scar, if it's a tattoo. I don't know what it is. But what I do know is that this leads into an ad break, but also leads into Bobby Lashley versus Mustafa Ali next.
I did feel a bit sorry for Mustafa Ali at that point because I thought, well, this isn't going to go well, is it? No. After we saw him get yeeted into that sort of container thing the other week before the open challenge, I just didn't give Ali any chance here, and I thought it was pretty much going to go the same way.
Yeah. He's not been booked the best. You know, he's supposed to be having this title shot against Seth, but it's not happening. You know, Bobby's in his way. I mean, this is probably a good way to have a Bobby versus Ali feud, but after this,
yeah.
I'll be honest. But I'll let you go.
Yep. Well, they started off and almost straight away, Ali is driven into the post and thrown at the announce table. He's getting beaten up all over the place again, almost counted out. Now, yes, it's making Bobby look strong, but it's the opponent that he's facing. It's Mustafa Ali. Bobby should really be facing someone bigger if they really want to put him over. I mean, he got put over last week when he was wrecking both Seth and Austin Theory. They didn't really need him to be beating up Mustafa Ali this week. He was doing that one-handed spine buster thing.
Yeah,
I think that's what
Corey
Graves caused it. He did one, then he did a second, and you could hear the crowd chanting one more time.
And he's supposed to be a heel.
Yeah, this is what made me laugh. I was thinking, well, at the moment, he's sort of, after the stuff with Brock, he was turning into a heel. But now that Mustafa Ali is meant to be a babyface, they're cheering for him to get hit with this big spine buster thing again. So I'm not quite sure what they're going to be doing with Bobby, whether they're going to try and keep pushing him as a heel or going to switch back to babyface. And
yeah,
I mean, if they're aiming for like a match with Seth, then obviously they're going to stick with him being a heel, I'd assume.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, few notes from me was Ali straight out the gate, Lashley into the post. The Dominator takes out Ali, which was quite nice.
Yeah.
Which is Big E's old finisher before it was the big ending. Well, the Dominator used to be up, then down. Whereas now the Dominator is up and then to the side. And then, yeah, as you said, Bobby just holds Ali in the air, just holds in one hand, the spine buster. And again, and you can hear the chant one more time. Nice little tornado DDT from Mustafa. And that leads up to nothing because he gets speared inside out.
Yeah, I mean, this was what made me laugh. Lashley got straight back up after that tornado DDT, didn't he? And like you say, speared him, sent him absolutely flying.
Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, he sold that spear like a dream, but at the same time, damn, you got turned inside out. And then I'd put hurt lock in deep, squashed.
I mean, to give him credit, Ali didn't actually tap, did he? He passed out, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to give it him, aren't they? Is oh, he didn't actually tap. He didn't tap out. He passed out. He didn't want to quit. I'm sorry, but go on.
No, you go ahead, mate.
I would say I've seen the spot too many times now. Yes, Mustafa Ali's like, oh, I'm gutsy and all this lot, but it doesn't give him a character. I've seen way too many people pass out, and not give up. The one time it worked was Brett and Stone Cold. Stone Cold was a badass mother and wouldn't tap out, so he passed out. And that worked at that time because of Stone Cold. But it's been repeated that much, it just doesn't work.
No.
There's nothing to it. I mean, I give this match a 3 out of 5. I just think it definitely, which is a high rating out of the ones I've gave. But for me, it was basically a case of, yes, it gave Ali a bit of a character of he doesn't give up, but it wasn't nothing brilliant. And in all fairness, I just like to see Lashley beat up people. That's why I give it a 3 out of 5. 2 glorious spine busters, a spear that turns him inside out, and the hurt lock just to completely pass him out. Yes, please.
Yep. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. I thought it was a alright match, and like you say, there were some good bits with the spear and the spine busters, but it was just a bit sort of same old with the, as you said, the passing out stuff and Ali, Mustafa Ali not giving up, and we've seen it suits too many times. I mean, although it wasn't a match last week, Theory did the same thing in the Hurt Lock, didn't he? He just sort of passed out.
Yeah, and this is the thing. It's alright making your things pass out, but it's one of those cases again. Like that wasn't a match, and he just passed out. But then he got back up and beat the count before 10. So it doesn't quite give the aura of he's Bobby Lashley's this massive guy that can beat up anyone. Austin Theory woke up after 9 seconds.
Yeah.
It's you got to do better. You got to do at least 10, Bobby. Come on. Then we get the OC backstage.
Yeah, with Kathy Kelly.
Kathy Kelly. My. Mia Yim is here, and they start talking basically about Mia Yim obviously being back. And Gallows clearly turns around and goes, well, I'm the reason. I'm the ladies' man.
Yeah.
I'm the reason she's back. I mean, come on. This was brilliant. And then we get told that it's Finn versus AJ Styles AJ turns around and says this needs to end. And I was thinking it's going to be a 4v4, and I wouldn't have minded this being another War Games match. Obviously, as we know, actually you don't know. We'll leave that for now, and we'll discuss why. But AJ turns around and goes, "Guess what? Me versus Finn Balor at Survivor Series. That's where it ends."
One-on-one match.
Yes, which I'm very excited for because that's gonna be a good match. But do we get Demon Finn Balor?
Did they say there's any stipulation, or
it's just a genuine one-on-one? It's just a genuine one-on-one match. And that next we get in the return match for Mia Yim, which my days. Before we get onto that,
I did like the fact Mia Yim did the too sweet thing.
Yes.
With the OC. That was cool.
So again, I go back to it, and so on the Tuesday night, I wasn't here. I was at a football game. So I had commitments in the morning, then I had commitments in the afternoon, which made it so we just didn't get a time slot. I went to go watch some football with some mates of mine, and me and Kyle at the time were discussing it. Now, Kyle, I'd just like to point out, bud, that the reason the Raw review didn't go up on the Tuesday was because I was with you on the Tuesday. That's how this works. So,
he asked you, didn't he, while you were out with him? Well, you haven't posted the Raw review yet.
Yeah, he asked me what I was. Yeah, exactly what Saul said. Well, we played some bowling first, and he was like, "Oh, where's your Raw review?" And I was like, "Where do you think?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I says, "Well, at the time that I should be posting it, I'm here playing bowling with you lot." Oh yeah, good point. So yes, Kyle, this one's on you this week. You are the worst superstar of the week. But so me and Kyle were talking about it at the bowling, and what we were saying was that when it comes to the superstars and who we should be in there, I said it should be Charlotte Flair. Carl was a bit like, well, why? And I said, look, history of AJ Styles and history of Ripley. Oh, crap, that's actually a good shout. And then I asked him if he thought of anyone. He goes, no. And I says, I think that's where we got into a corner. It was either going to be Charlotte Flair, or we just didn't know. And essentially, we all got hurt. We got news that Mia was coming back, and I was surprised Mia was in the OC, in all fairness. But Carl didn't know, and that's what the kind of story was alluding to, was that we all thought it was going to be someone else. We're very happy it's Miriam. Like, I'm very happy it's Miriam. But it was definitely a good surprise by WWE to pull off, because a lot of people thought Charlotte Flair might get involved with AJ Styles and whatnot. And it wasn't. So WWE, good on you for that one.
I mean, I know we certainly thought it was going to be Charlotte Flair, didn't we?
Yeah, logically it just made sense. But Miriam, it works as well, you know? She's the, what is it, BIAC, baddest in any country or something. I don't know. But yeah, we get the return match for Mia Yim next. And Saul, before we go into this, how many notes have you actually got for this match?
2 lines.
I thought as much. This is all I can say.
It was Tamina.
Yeah.
Where's she been?
Well, she got divorced from Akira Tozawa last year in the 24/7 championship. Which, by the way, is no more. It is done. On WWE.com, it has got till 2022. It is not an official title anymore. Thank God.
Do you want my 2 lines of notes?
Yes.
And then you can take over. Mia Yim versus Tamina. Where's she been? Mia will win. Rhea and Dom come out to distract. One of these two in War Games, ? Mia hits Seek Defeat, wins.
Fair.
It just wasn't much of a fight, was it?
Very short match. Tamina misses splash. Mia hits Eat Defeat. That's mine.
Yeah.
There was nothing to... I'm sorry, Tamina still can't sell. There was a Hurricane Rana at the start of this match, and Tamina just fell on the ground. Just went here. Didn't give herself a roll, nothing. She just went, oh no, and just started crawling on the ground and roll over a little bit.
To give it... not to give it any credit or anything, but I think this is more to build with what's to come later on. Just increasing the sort of feud between Rhea and...
if this was, right, even if it was Dana Brooke here, it works better. Because Dana Brooke can wrestle, in all fairness to her. She maybe hasn't got the charisma and star power going forward.
Yeah.
But Dana can wrestle a bit. Mina can't wrestle.
No.
And she puts herself over as this menace. Oh, Tamina, you know.
Nobody Mina.
Yeah, nobody Mina. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but my dog's Mina. She hates males. It's great. But Tamina here, if you'd built Tamina properly, or if Tamina could actually build herself properly, you think, oh, Mia Yim's took out nobody Mina, but it's just Tamina. There's,
you
know.
Yeah.
Everyone else Mina.
She's never gonna... Mia Yim was never going to lose on a return to Tamina, who we haven't seen for God knows how long.
Like,
so
I can't exactly think who you'd pick out here, but I mean, even if you gave it someone, I don't know, maybe on SmackDown, for instance, even Selena Vega works here. You know, Selena Vega can wrestle, and if you give Mia Yim Selena Vega, again, 2 different shows, I understand, but again, that's just another person that can wrestle and can give a good match. Because all this looks like is Mia Yim got Tamina. Nah. If Mia Yim beat Natalya, again, Natalya can wrestle. I know people say Natalia's boring and all this lot, but Natalya can wrestle. There's no doubt about it. She's just a character stale. Always has been.
You know who I'd have given her? And who I think's on Raw still, although we haven't seen her for ages. Doudrop.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd have been a hell.
Piper Nevin.
Yeah. Mia Yim versus... That's a really good shot, actually. Yeah, Piper versus...
Mia Yim.
Mia Yim, yeah. Again, because she's meaner than Tamina. I'm rhyming too much, it's annoying.
But yeah, like you, apart from her, I couldn't really think, because for obvious reasons, as we'll discover later, they couldn't put her up against any of Damage Control.
Yes.
and obviously they're saving her and Rhea having a proper fight till later. And there's not really any other heel female wrestlers on Raw at the moment. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. With that, I give it 2 out of 5.
I gave it 1.5 out of 5.
Yeah. I look. Tamina gets the sorry. Mia Yim gets the win. Jesus, Mia Yim gets the win. Okay, good, but
yeah,
it doesn't show anything for a turn match because you gave her someone that can't sell. So nothing against Mia at all here, but she doesn't look as good as she could because you've got Tamina. You know, if you want someone who can sell moves, you know, if you could do a hook and Rana that flips out of it and stuff, but Tamina just again went on knees and rolled over it. She even struggled to take the defeat properly.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
That was a bit embarrassing.
Also, the splash does not look effective at all. It's like she jumps off, she jumped off the top rope midway and starts flailing, going, "Oh shit!" Next though is Riddle and his bongs. No, not the ones that eat drums. Never mind.
Boom, 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 boom.
So we get told it's Riddle versus Gable, and I was like, for God's sake, I thought we was away from this.
Yeah, thought we were done with this balls.
Yeah, thought this was over. I went, Kathy Kelly though, hi.
Yes.
And that was pretty much
that for the segment. Yeah. Just learned that it was.
Then we go backstage and we find out that Damage Control want Mia Yim. And then I put makes sense. ... Because I was like, Mia Yim's a face.
Yeah, this is the. As soon as this segment happened, and at the end of it, they're sort of going, "Oh, you've got to pick a side, Mia." Straight away, I was like, "Well, Mia Yim's in Bianca's team then."
Yeah.
Because there's no way they've got Mia as a face. There's no way she's gonna suddenly decide to join the heel team, is there?
No.
Doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
The only thing that would have made sense here is if you didn't have Mia with the OC. The simple case of, we've been cast out because EO and Dakota obviously unfortunately lost their jobs earlier last year and they got brought back by Trips. So did Mia. So if you was going to go down that route, yes, Mia would actually make sense joining that team. Because she's come back, you know, and she wants to get revenge on the people that kept their jobs, basically, you know. Whereas, you brought her back in the OC where she's clearly a face because she's beat up Rhea Ripley. Hello, ding dong. In addition,
and also at this point, I've also put Mia to join Bianca's team, Rhea to join Damage Control.
So I actually didn't put that at this point. I did not realise. And as I did on the SmackDown review, I also give my predictions for the wins. Right. So straight away, Bobby versus Ali was Bobby. Mia Yim versus Tamina was Mia Yim. And then I'll give you my things afterwards. So just before we go on to the next match, we come and OC come in and be like, "Is everything all right?" It's like, "Yeah, I've got it all under control." You know, they was just on their way. And then I just see Carl Anderson with his arm up like that with a beer crate literally on his shoulder. It was brilliant. It's like, he's got the beers. Like, OC me and work. And Joe, it's surprising to me, but it works. I quite like it. So, it's like, me Yim is... Yeah, go on.
They've definitely found the right person to slot in with that group.
Yeah.
Because like you, I thought it was probably going to be Charlotte. I thought the interactions between her and the OC could be funny. They definitely don't sort of gel as a proper faction, where Mia Yim is sort of like this badass chick does fit in with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think with Charlotte and AJ, you could have something like, "Oh yeah, respect," and then Charlotte could be a bit like, "I don't know about these two though." You know, you could have some interaction where there's a bit of like doubt and whatnot, and maybe you have a bit of a laugh and whatnot. But I'm just trying to pick some up. Then we get Riddle versus Gable.
Yep, Riddle plus Bongos I've got versus Gable.
And I put this match should be good. I was wrong. I put Riddle to win this at this point.
I put Riddle as well. And I've also got in brackets Chubby Unicorns back, aka the Rhinos in his
Lovely.
opening bit.
So, what have I got?
I did like at the start they mentioned the Alpha Academy's history with RK Bro and like the academic challenge.
Yes.
So that was a nice callback to what had happened in the past between Riddle, Randy, and Gable and Otis.
Yeah. It's so weird to think that at one point Alpha Academy legit challenged RK Bro for the tag titles. And there was a chance they could win it at that point because Otis was pushed quite decently.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's Riddle versus Gable, and I'm sorry, but I can't be more bored of it.
The thing is, this sort of feud's got the problem as well that it's been going on for a couple of weeks and nothing's really materialising from it. We got a break, I think it was last week, when Riddle joined
the New Day
against the Bloodline. So that was nice because I thought, oh, we've seen the end of this. But yeah, back to this again.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like it's going to stop because it feels like it's building towards Riddle and Elias versus Alpha Academy.
Which, I'm sorry, I'm just not excited for. Elias wasn't even there this week.
No.
I just feel like you had the chance to move Riddle away from this, and you've just pushed him straight back in again. You know, there's a really nice bit to start off with where 2 dragon screws from Chad to Riddle. They look painful.
Yeah.
They truly look painful. There's a bit where Riddle's on the top rope, and Otis moves the steps to try and like distract him. And Gable comes up and he gives him this reverse top rope suplex.
Yeah, that looks sick.
God, that looks amazing. I was like, damn. Only Riddle will take that spot though.
Yeah.
Because that is a terrifying spot because he just launches him. And you can tell his landing isn't the best. Obviously, he lands it, he's like, okay, whatever. But it's a rough landing, but it looks hell of a good move. We also get a reversal into a fisherman driver, which is quite nice. Just picks him up, launches him on his head. We get a bro and shush off.
Yeah, I did like that bit where they're exchanging blows, and one's going bro, the other one's going shush.
Bro, shush. It was brilliant. Then we get a really good flurry by Riddle. Exploder suplexes everywhere. Jumping triangle. So Gable goes off the top rope and goes into a triangle.
Yeah.
Gable reverses that. Then there's the obviously Randy DDT on the ropes. And then before I go on to the finish, what notes have you got?
I've got Riddle did a nice power bomb and then went straight into a knee to face for a near fall.
That looked brutal.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. Got the bit. Gable put Riddle in the ankle lock for a bit, so that was sort of like going back to work on his leg, I guess, after those dragon screws at the start. But he then Riddle rolled through, and that was when we got the jumping triangle spot. Gable goes for a moonsault from top rope, and Riddle avoids and gets Gable into position for the Orton rope DDT, and then from that point it was moving into the finish, wasn't it?
Which is where I lost all respect for this match. I was enjoying the match, don't get me wrong, and then this finish just peed me off. So it's a roll up by Gable, and as Gable's rolling him up, Otis his legs are already there. Otis and Gable have their legs on the rope. Well, Otis grabs Gable's legs on the ropes and holds them there. And it's a dirty finish. I'm sorry, but Chad, Gable, and Riddle do not need a dirty finish.
No, it should have just been a clean finish. Like I wouldn't have even minded if Gable had won with a clean finish.
Yeah.
Because you could see either of them. They're both good wrestlers.
Yeah, they're really good in their right. Otis is actually quite good, but I don't need them to have these dirty finishes. And it's becoming every week. Not every week does a heel need to do a dirty finish.
No.
You know, the heels are supposed to be good in their own right. I mean, for crying out loud, I'm sorry, but I don't see Randy Orton trying to do a dirty finish. He hits an RKO and gets a 1-2-3. It's because he's that damn good. You know? And it's at the point as well where it's just stopping using finishes. Like, we had a match on SmackDown, right? Usos and New Day. The reason they kicked out of their finishes was to amplify how much of a match this was. And then when they got hit with a 1D, they didn't kick out. They solidified the 1D, the one and done is a one and done. You know, and it just doesn't protect the finishes anymore. They haven't got, you know, it's like at End of Days, it's only been kicked out of once by Drew McIntyre. That's how you protect a finisher. Nobody kicks out of End of Days by Baron Corbin because it's that damn good. Apart from Drew, because Drew.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gave this a 2.5.
I gave it the same, 2.5. Good match, very poor finish.
Yeah. Literally, the icing's on the cake there. It's.
And also, please, well, I've got. Please let this feud be over now, but we'll come back to it because there's another segment about this later.
Yep. Grr. But then we move in to Baron Corbin and JBL sat backstage playing card. Yeah, poker.
I thought this was like a nice callback to when JBL was Bradshaw in the APA days playing poker with Farouk.
Yeah, it was quite a nice callback, and JBL and Baron Corbin playing these jobbers. Yeah, you know they were just there, weren't they? And we basically get to a point where they're playing and they're winning. You know, Baron comes all in and he's doing well. And then Akira Tozawa walks in and goes, I want to play cards. And he's like, I want to play. And we get to a point where he sits down. He's got these weird glasses on.
Yeah, poker glasses.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that was what they're supposed to be.
Poker face and stuff. And that he was basically, you know, sat down ready to play. And they asked him, do you know how to play poker? He's like, no. I've got no idea. And then he goes, oh, it's easy money for us then. Oh, yeah, well, we'll let you play all the time, kind of thing. And then the segment ends there. So we've got Tozawa playing cards with Baron Corbin and JBL.
Now, you've probably got the same as me written down. Tozawa versus Corbin later.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It was a sure definite. I was like, it's gonna be
I did have another note for this segment, which was JBL's line when he got offered the finest Kentucky bourbon. His reply was, I don't need anything from a bunch of banjo-plucking Kentucky hillbillies. Next thing you know, I'll be wanting to marry my cousin.
I tell you something, JBL says some things and I'm surprised he doesn't get caught up on it, because my God.
Oh, I can't believe he said that. But...
Joe, yeah, I completely forgot about that bit. But it was brilliant. And like I said, the best part about it all at that point is he's got some what was it? He got his own whiskey, and I can't think what country it was from. Ugandan whiskey, that was it.
Some country in Africa. Yeah. Wouldn't have thought they'd have made whiskey there, but.
And then we move on to Miz TV.
Yeah.
Byron Saxton is the host. Because, well, we found this out. Basically, Miz comes down and he says, oh, Byron Saxton is going to be the host of Miz TV, as I want to basically put out a message. Oh, I can't think of the word was, but he wants to put out a statement, basically, if that's the one. You know, and
now I'm going to sound like a mark here, but I felt really sorry for the Miz.
Really? I felt sorry for Byron Saxton.
He come out looking like a granddad.
Well, there was a line actually about that later, wasn't there? Mr. Rogers.
Yes.
So Miz turns around and says, I've spent 18 years at WWE. 18. That's long time. That's mental.
Because we were saying that Seth being there for 10 years was a long time.
Yeah.
But it's almost double.
18 years. That's 2004.
Yeah, he was a contestant in Tough Enough, and he didn't even win it. He was a runner-up, I think.
Yeah.
and I can't remember who won it, but they're not around anymore. So
Yeah.
good on him for being around this long. And
Yeah, like he's had to work to get to where he is. Yeah, and you know what? Fair play to what he's done, because he's done well. But he's had to work because he was very annoying to people backstage. He was very much a Jersey boy in that essence. He definitely rubbed people up the wrong way.
Yeah,
That's the best way I could put it. But like I say, he apparently is very respected backstage now. Obviously he taught Logan Paul, helped him out and stuff like that, and apparently he's a very good person to have backstage.
Yeah.
But yes, this Miz getting to cry basically.
Yeah.
I was a bit like, not that I felt sorry for him, but like I was like, God, he's actually a really good actor, because he is putting his heart and soul into a promo.
Yeah, he had to put his glasses on, didn't he, to read his emotional statement.
Just Miz is brilliant. Yeah, people miss it. Oh, Miz, but Miz is brilliant. I remember the Miz Dolph Ziggler feud when Dolph Ziggler was threatening to quit.
Yeah,
and he ends up super kicking him with no shoe on. I also put Byron Saxon's incredible here. Because every time Miz made like a comment, I'm like, so what about this?
I'll tell you what, I wish Byron Saxton was back on commentary with Corey Graves instead of Kevin
Patrick
or Kelly or whatever.
That's how much we care about him. That you remembered his first name, I didn't. I know his second name and you didn't. He's not bad, don't get me wrong. He's alright, but just add Byron back to that commentary table. Just add it back. It just makes sense. Byron and Corey can keep going off at each other like they do. And yeah, Kevin Patrick's just the kind of weird one there, you know. But yeah, so Johnny interrupts a very sad Miz.
Yeah, remember, Miz is just a devoted father and loving husband, and he was very depressed all weekend. Those are actual facts.
Yeah, Watts was on holiday with his wife in the Caribbean or wherever it may be. I was very depressed in my hotel room. Stop deviating, Miz. We get the chance of Johnny wrestling, and he then turns around to him and says, Mike. And the crowd go, ooh. It's like, it's not, his name's Mike the Miz on Twitter. It's not like we've seen his first name before, you know. But this segment was alright, don't get me wrong, I quite enjoyed this segment. And it basically was setting up to what we're getting to next. Miz was trying to defend himself, saying that, you know, these allegations and stuff like that, you know, and I gave her the PI the wrong scoop, actually. And it's like, well, how did you know she was a PI? Because you got revealed to you she was a PI, and you're like, oh, crap. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, no, I knew she was a PI, actually. No, you didn't. But also, this is the part of the Miz's thing. He's lying through his teeth. And he's just trying to find an excuse to get out of it.
Yeah.
And then we get the Mr. Rogers thingy, and he's like, it's not what is it, sweater, it's a cardigan. Something like that. I can't remember if it was sweater, but he says it's not a sweater, it's a cardigan.
It's a cardigan, yeah.
And then Johnny goes, you're lying again. And Johnny Gargano comes out and basically says, well, put it this way. So right, all the wrongs and whatnot, Survivor Series, it's going to be Dexter Lumis versus The Miz.
Yeah.
And just before we get onto the stipulation, Miz quite clearly in his statement was saying Dexter Lumis and not the man who shall not be named.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a touch that got missed out.
So I didn't pick up on that, actually.
Yeah, he never said the man who should not be named. He actually just went, yeah, Dexter Lumis. Like, what? The stipulations are, from what I understand, at least, you might have to correct me here. If Dexter Lumis wins, he gets paid all his money back and gets a WWE contract.
Correct.
So what the hell has he been doing for the past 8 weeks?
Yeah. Well, he has been getting chased off by security. So
yeah, but how will we not be able to catch this man?
To be fair, WWE security are probably one of the most inept security forces in. I wouldn't hire them to look after a brown paper bag, let alone a bloody wrestling company.
It's like having stormtroopers guard your boss.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Like,
No.
for me, if it was a case if he gets all his money back, okay, brilliant, that's fine. But the fact that Dexter's not got a WWE contract yet, and
so yeah,
it doesn't
we know
make
he's
sense.
going to win.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, but the amount of times that the guy's not been, caught properly and all this lot.
Mm-hmm.
If he'd have done this as many times as he did, he'd have been arrested and whatnot. So you won't have him back every week. You know what I mean? And how does he know where Raw's ended up every week? Because even I don't know that.
No.
I look at the thing and I just Americans. In all fairness, right, here's the thing for it, and I want to know in the comments down below. I don't know where Raw's going to next. It doesn't really show. So for you guys that do, how the hell do you find out? Do you get like advertisements that tell you watch it over there and whatnot? Because I actually don't know where Raw is most of the time regarding like next show after that kind of thing. I just don't get it. But that's probably because I'm in the UK, so I wouldn't. And then as we're thinking, okay, this is all cool. Miz is saying, "Oh, Dexter this," and he's having a go at him, and Johnny's like, "Why don't you just tell him?"
Mm-hmm.
And then it pans back around to Dexter Loomis as his cameraman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, he's trying to get it all off, and he's there, and he sprints after Miz, and Miz does this comical runaway.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. This comical runaway was actually quite funny. I was like, I like this a lot. I was like, you absolute plank. And Dexter kept getting closer, and then he kept backing away and running away and stuff. And in all fairness, it was good.
It was funny, but really, considering how scared the Miz is supposed to be of Dexter, he should have just shot off like a rocket, shouldn't he?
Mm-hmm. Now, my issue here is just the storyline.
Yeah.
These three clearly have good chemistry and have a good sense of humour between each other, but this story is pants.
Yeah. Money. Miz wanted him to be a crazy, a stalker, and all this, that. It was there's no real substance behind the story, is there?
No.
They could have come up with something so much more entertaining with these three, and it's just a bit pants. So I'm hoping that once Dexter beats Miz, which he's going to, gets his WWE contract, this will be the end of it, and they can all move on to doing. I wouldn't mind if they continued with a better storyline, but yeah, this has got a bit. Hopefully, this will be the end of it.
Yeah, this is not it.
Because I remember when they were building up to this, me and you were thinking, oh, this is going to be something really good, weren't we? Something really juicy, because it's like this big secret, and Miz don't want it revealed. And then when Johnny Gargano said, oh, Miz has been hiring Dexter to attack him or whatever, we were just like, what?
Yeah. I was expecting someone to do Indy Hartwell here.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had the little segment where he went to NXT to say, I love you, I'll be back. And then he's never appeared in NXT since, but he's appeared on Raw every week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit like, well, hold on a second here. Like, what's going on here? Because it's one of these cases that if it was something to do with Indy, like, I don't know, Miz tried to get Indy sacked, for instance. Like, Dexter left and was okay, cool, whatever. And Miz, let's say Indy rubbed up Marie some way and Miz tried to get her sacked. That's a great storyline to delve into. He's come back for Indy. Yes, she may be on the NXT roster, but at least, obviously, he's come back to try and save her and whatnot. And Johnny's like, oh my god, Dexter's back, kind of thing, and all this. But I'll be honest, this storyline just doesn't cut it. It's not for me. So, and something that's not for me is also this next segment.
Oh, the Shelton Benjamin and
I hate Dominic. I hate Dominic. So, I kind of skipped over the backstage segment, I'll be honest. But
okay, I'll go over it if you want, because I've got some notes on it. I saw
one thing, I was like, no.
Kathy Kelly backstage with Shelton. She wants to get his reaction on Theory's failed cash-in because they had the match the previous week, which Shelton lost. But Shelton's gone on about how just about to say something, and then Dom interrupts with Shelton, you should know all about being a failure. you've been one since my deadbeat dad and Uncle Eddie were in their primes. I'm better than them. So that pissed Shelton off. And
this, by the way, was on Eddie Guerrero's birthday, I believe.
I didn't know that.
Let me double check something. Eddie Guerrero birthday was no, it was his birthday. I think it was the day he passed, actually. Let me just double check. Sorry.
I know he was doing lots of Eddie stuff in the match that's coming up.
When was the 13th? No, it was the Sunday. Sorry, so the day after Eddie passed. So yeah, this was the Raw the day after Eddie passed.
Then Shelton sort of getting in Dom's face, and Priest steps in. Dom's like, the one thing I did like about this, and it leads me more to hating Dom even more, but it's like how there's like the little kid who's hanging out with the bully, and Dom was the bully, and Priest was the bully, and Dom's constantly sort of chiming in behind him, going, "Yeah, gonna have a fight and all this, that, and the other." And in the end, it led to Shelton accepting a match, but it was actually Dom's challenge and not Damian Priest.
Yeah, so this literally for me here, this is why I hate Dom. But clearly he's doing his job. If I'm hating Dom, he's a good heel. That's the idea, right? So the thing that got me the most from this, if anything, was the fact that he, again, was hiding behind Dominic Priest. Dominic's like, "Oh, I'll teach you a lesson, brothers," or whatever. And then Shelton turns and says, "I accept your challenge with you, Dom." And Dom's like, "Oh, crap." This, for me, is where I gave it a 1 out of 5. Before we even go any further with what goes off, I give this a 1 out of 5. I'm so peed off with this. Unbelievable.
I've just got another side note that I keep getting Dom and Damian Priest mixed up, because to me Damian Priest looks a bit like Vin Diesel, and Vin Diesel's character in Fast and the Furious is called Dom.
Yes.
So I keep getting it's all very confusing to me. I'm old. So.
I love it.
But yeah, next we've got Dom v Shelton.
So
you're paid off, aren't you?
I'm very paid off at this point. This is absolutely, it's just annoying, really.
2 weeks in a row, isn't it? Is why you're paid off.
And like I said, we're gonna get onto this. The reason I'm peed off, right? Let's start, shall we? So, first of all, Shelton Benjamin has a great theme song. He's got his own theme song again, and I quite like it. Again, WWE do not mess with theme songs, I've got to say. Shelton overpowers Dom to crap. And I've got to say, Dom's still very green. I looked at this match and I realised Dom can't wrestle as well as he should be doing after 2 years. Like, I will admit now, and Money B, I'm not going to put money here, so please don't get, annoyed. Just chill with me for a second. I do get where Money's coming from, where he says he hates Dom and loves Logan. Again, that's more on Money's character side, but I was looking at this and Logan can bloody wrestle. And for Logan to do what he's done in that time, as opposed to what Dom's done in his time, Dom should be outclassing Logan, but he's not.
You think of all that, Dom's probably been learning from a lot younger about wrestling, because Eddie's his dad. Not Eddie. Going back to
we finally revealed that thing ages ago. It's actually Eddie that is Dom's dad and not Rey Mysterio. Custody of Dom match.
Yeah.
What a match.
Yeah, Rey's his dad, so he should. I'd assume he didn't just wake up one day and decide, I'm going to start wrestling.
Yeah.
Something he should have been training for a while.
This is where Dom should be shining, but he's not. And this is nothing against Shelton Benjamin, because he's the gold standard, and you can see why he is. He's Shelton Benjamin's getting on a bit now, and he's nearly 50, is he not? Or is he?
I don't know. He was
the power of technology, apart from a broken phone.
Mid-40s at least, I'd say.
Shelton Benjamin is in fact 47.
Oh, more than mid-40s.
He's still younger than R-Truth. That's
still younger. Older than me. Yeah.
Older than you and...
Older than you.
Oh, yeah, I mean a lot older than me. And still younger than R-Truth. Because R-Truth's 50. For you guys that didn't know, R-Truth is 50. So yeah, Shelton overpowers Dom. Dom very green. There's a really nice power slam from Shelton onto Dom. There was a running knee that Shelton gave Dom. I honestly thought he took his teeth out.
Yeah.
Dom's on the floor and just gets kneed in the face, and genuinely it looks like he's just been, his head's been took off. It is incredible, like just brilliant. And then all of a sudden I see a bit where there's a roll up, and I'm going, not the roll up, please, not the roll up. I can't be doing with a roll up. It turns out, thankfully, I was wrong. It wasn't a roll up. They go for a frog splash off the top rope, and the frog splash actually pins Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah.
And I mean, Damien Priest got involved, didn't he? This is also the reason why Damien Priest got involved, was distracting Shelton, in which case Dom then set up for the frog splash, hit the frog splash, and won. So Dom didn't win clean, although it says in the match he did. There was interference from Damien, sorry. But this is where I much prefer to have Damien Priest grab Dom's legs and hold him on the rope, and have Riddle and Gable, where Otis distracts Riddle and Gable picks up a clean victory without using the ropes. If these two matches switched their ending, it'd work a lot better for either side. I think they got these endings wrong here.
Yeah.
Riddle doesn't need to lose by a roll-up pin on the ropes. Gable should just be able to basically hit a finisher and win, but he got distracted by Otis. Whereas Dom needs all the help he can get, hold his legs on the rope and give him that win. But he just beat Shelton Benjamin clean, and I'm like, no. And this is where I got peed off. 1 out of 5.
Someone of Shelton Benjamin standards should not be getting beaten by Dom clean.
Yeah. I was ridiculous. So peed at this. I'm like, Shelton Ben, you brought him back on screen to have him lose to Theory, which today's episode, okay, fine, right? First of all. But Dominic,
no, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say that Dom, like you said about him making people hate him, like he's doing a very good job of that, because he went for the 619, didn't he, at one point in the match, and that got people riled up.
Oh yeah.
And he was doing the Eddie Guerrero hip and Viva La Raza thing, and that was annoying people as well. So that was good. But yeah, I mean, Shelton had him in the ankle lock, and Damien Priest sort of grabbed him and helped him to the ropes. Then there's all the distraction, 5-star frog splash, and it's over. And I was just like, Shelton, but we're always saying this about certain wrestlers, but he deserves so much better than being treated like this, Shelton.
Yeah. So much better. Oh my god, I've still got like 4 pages.
Yeah, I've still got a lot left.
Yeah. So then we get Austin Theory next, and I'm thinking, okay, here we go, because this is going to be the first time Austin Theory spoke since losing his briefcase. So, first of all, I'm very happy. I was peed.
Yeah.
And now I'm very happy again. And me and Saul have spoke. If you've been watching the reviews we've been doing, we've always said one thing with Austin, or 2 things really. There's one, he needs to get serious, and 2, he needs to lose that damn phone.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
He's done both, really. It looks from what we saw this week, he's definitely done both.
Yeah. The phone comes in later, but this promo also doesn't have a phone. He says no one understands him, and that he was giving praise to Roman and Seth. He was basically saying that, you know, I've got this briefcase and I can't cash in against Roman. The bloodline's always there. Roman just dominates people anyway, but the bloodline is always there, whether it be Solo, Sami now, or the Usos. You just can't get to Roman. And it's like, yes, Austin Theory will never cash in against Roman. Everyone knew this. And he said himself, it's an anchor around my neck. I can finally be me. I can finally be Austin Theory. You know, and I haven't got this thing tied around my neck, you know, pulling me down. He says, and I was smart. I went and I thought I could cash in against, never been done before. It would have been the greatest cash in history, because he's gone for the US title. But Bobby Lashley made sure it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, do you know what? Yeah, this is what people have been saying. This is what makes sense, you know. This is straight down the line what every fan's been saying. Austin cannot beat Roman. That it's not going to happen. And so he's giving praise. He's like, Seth is a great US champion, and it's going to be hard to get off it. And I saw the opportunity. You know, because he ain't the show going after Gunther. You got no chance about that either.
Because he's got Imperium backing him up. So it's sort of the same case scenario as Bloodline backing up Roman, isn't it?
And we get this serious Austin Theory. I've revealed something that's come up. We get this serious Austin Theory, and I'm so happy. This is what I want. He's built like a shitbrick house, basically.
Yeah.
And he's such a good promo.
Yep, and he's talented in the ring as well.
I mean, I gave his match against Seth a 4 out of 5 the other week because it was damn amazing. He's very talented. And then all of a sudden, we get someone come in.
Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler, indeed. And he comes in and he's like, I tried to give you a bit of help last time. You know, I tried to help you because he goes, not the greatest cash in. I had that, but you know. Dolph being Dolph, the show off, and he's like, I tried to give you some help, but you didn't take it. You know, it's on you. You're a chump. You're a kid. And this is where
him, that's the kid thing, isn't it? He called, and that'll come back later. But yeah, a Theory didn't appreciate being called the kid.
And he says, "Oh, I'll prove I'm not a kid. I'll prove out in the ring," and all this like, and gives him the talk. And then we get to him going out to stage, and Dolph goes, "All right then, kid." I was like, "Oh, that's just nasty. That's just nasty." And then we go to, we have the serious Austin Theory, and I'm thinking, yes, this is great. I'm loving this. I want to see this match. Okay, good. And then it cuts to Io Sky of Damage Control.
Oh, just before that, we got a preview of War Games, and it confirmed that it's definitely 2 teams of 5. But there's still nothing about a men's match, so I'm wondering if we're going to get one of those.
So, yes, before we go further, we understand that Kevin Owens has been injured at a house show and he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. So, for the men's war game, I believe it should have been Bloodline with Sammy and the Brawling Brute, Drew and Kevin. I do believe that was the idea leading up, but now Kevin's injured.
Yeah. So, don't know what's going to happen with that. 'Cause we had a look, didn't we, through the SmackDown roster to see if we could find someone else.
Yeah, we just
put in. No.
The only person generally I think you can put in is Braun Strowman, just because he's over. But again, it's one of these that, from what I've read and seen, the popular belief was it was going to be Kevin Owens. Storyline wise, and he's done a War Games before, he can slot in, but like I say, he's now injured. So we don't know who can essentially fill that void. We'll see on SmackDown when we get to it, which is as of today, tomorrow. So we'll see that. But yes, the women's is a 5v5, which will very much find out shortly. And yeah, the men's is, I believe it is the Bloodline, but it's not been confirmed yet, has it? It's still teetering.
And also, one other side note relating to SmackDown, when we were looking through that roster, which is the updated roster online, because it had Sarah Logan in a Viking war paint. 2 people that were still on the roster, which totally surprised me, were Naomi and Sasha Banks.
Yes, so I'm just pulling up the roster on my screen right now. So the current WWE roster on November the 15th, right, which has again been updated again.
Yeah.
Because this was the 13th it was updated, this is now the 15th. And if I scroll down, I can still see Naomi and Sasha Banks with blue hair.
And so there's all this stuff going off about that I've been seeing on Twitter about finally severing ties with WWE. But the fact that she's still listed on the roster, and it's an updated roster because they've got Sarah Logan in it and several other, Rey Mysterio on SmackDown now. So why they haven't removed those 2 if they're not part of WWE is very confusing to me.
It says here, ring name Sasha Banks, November 8th, 2012. So she's been in the thing 10 years as Sasha Banks. Till present.
So, yeah, I don't know.
So, Yes, so that basically points out that we
Bray's
have...
on the roster, isn't he?
Yeah, Bray Wyatt's on the
Yeah.
roster up here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, as you said, we've got Sarah Logan with the face paint and how she looks.
Yeah.
That's updated.
Rey Mysterio.
Yep, Rey Mysterio. You know, you've got Wade Barrett, obviously the commentator that's on SmackDown, so that's again been updated. Kayla Braxton's there. You've got B-Fab as a wrestler, obviously. Big E's still under contract, mind you.
Yeah.
And we obviously know about Big E. I mean, Emma's there as well. We've got Eric and Ivar in this new face paint as well. So yeah, like Logan Paul is obviously SmackDown as well, although he's injured at the moment. But yes, Naomi and Sasha Banks are on.
Still listed as active WWE people on the thing.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Yeah, that was a little side note, as such as, look, you know, this is potentially a thing because Robert Roode's still on the Raw side, you know.
It's very odd that some of these people are still on these rosters, and
yeah, like I said, this is literally it because Mia Yim has a Raw database.
Yeah.
You know, she literally has a Raw database, and it says quite literally here, reckoning, September 27th to July 15th, and then Mia Yim July 16th till present, and that is bang updated as of 2 days ago, Tuesday.
Yeah, to me, if they're not part of the company, it's not different. They're updating things. It's easy just to remove their profile.
Oh yeah, I mean Dexter Lumis is on, but we'll bypass that because he needs a contract, shall we?
Yeah.
Right. So we go to this match, and it is indeed Io Sky versus Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke feels disrespected, so why are you not having a match against Nikki Cross?
Yeah.
But you're having a match against Io Sky, which I'm sorry is probably one of the worst decisions you've ever made because it's Io Sky. For me, I've got 5 lines of notes. Are you ready?
I've got 2 lines of notes.
Oh, brilliant. Io controlling. Io is so good. Weird jumping DDT from Dana Brooke. Crowd is dead for this, and easy victory for Io Sky.
Yeah. Sky in control most of this match. Strange DDT. Double knees and over the moonsault to win. That's it.
Yeah. That's quite literally into it. It was a throwaway match to set up for the next bit. It was a 2 out of 5. I predicted Io Sky here.
1.5. I predicted Io Sky because Dana Brooke wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
And there's no disrespect for Dana Brooke, but yeah, she's not going to lose to Damage Control, especially when the entirety of Damage Control and Nikki Cross were outside the ring as well.
Yeah. So just before that, sorry, I also predicted Shelton Benjamin to win against Dom, but how I was wrong.
I predicted Shelton to win as well, but
so yeah, 2 out of 5. This was a very easy match for Io Sky. It was basically just to get Dana another go, I guess. I'll be honest, the crowd was not into this at all.
No,
and that was mostly Dana's side. Just Dana had offense, and nobody cared.
No.
And again, nothing against Dana. You know, she's doing things I could never do. But the crowd just wasn't there. You know, the crowd just is not into Dana Brooke. As people think they're into Dana Brooke. It just is not. And then Mia Yim comes out. And Mia Yim then turns around and says, I have made my decision. And then Bianca Belair's music then goes off. So, yes,
we've got our 4th person, haven't we, for Bianca's team?
So right now it's a 4v4. And we've got 2 people left because it showed us on the screen. So Mia, Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka versus Damage Control, which is Bayley, Io, and Dakota, and Nikki Cross. That's basically to set up that segment of, oh, look, here's, your next partner. So then we cut backstage to Baron Corbin and JBL. Go on.
At this point, I've got Rhea to join Damage Control.
I didn't think about this, I did not think about this. Because I thought,
my thinking was, there's this, obviously there's the whole thing with Rhea and Mia Yim being brought in to stop her. So I thought they need another heel to join Damage Control, Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, I'll be very completely honest. I did not see Rhea Ripley joining. For some reason, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. But yeah, so JBL and Baron Corbin in the back. They are losing 12 in a row to Akira Tozawa.
Yeah, he's got loads of money now, Tozawa.
Yeah, somehow. And Tozawa puts down his cards, and I think it was like three. I think it was like 3 queens, right?
Yeah.
Mistake me if I'm wrong, but I can't remember. And I put Baron and JBL losing bad, and basically Baron tries to cheat, saying, "Oh, I've got 3 kings," but doesn't show it. So it flips over, and it basically turns out that he had nothing and he lost.
Yeah.
He was
cheater.
So it was a simple case that after that, Akira Tozawa was getting peed off because he cheated, and he wants him in the ring. And as what we said, we knew this was going to set up.
Yeah.
The thing for me is where JBL tried to keep most of the money for himself. He ended up keeping Tozawa's glasses. But at least JBL got the glasses, I guess. So this sets up for Baron Corbin versus Akira Tozawa later on in the night. Because Saul.
Because next we've got Theory versus Dolph.
And my
first thing I've put is no cell phone. Yes.
I put no cell phone. Thank F.
The crowd were cheering, "You are stupid" at him.
Yes, there was that. So,
but
the first thing I've got to say from this, is having this very intense Austin Theory with no cell phone is the look. This is a step in the right direction.
Yeah,
that's what we said in the review before. Yes, people, we completely understand that you think the briefcase being lost is stupid. We get it, but this is now a fresh start for Austin Theory. Clearly, Triple H thinks he's got it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be going for Seth and this lot. Austin Theory clearly has got something, and this is now being showcased. He couldn't do it the briefcase because it was an anchor. And to get the briefcase off him, you had to have him do something shocking, which was lose it. But at least he didn't lose it by himself. Bobby made sure he lost it, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, it is a stupid move, but it's the best move for the character of Theory going forward. So it makes sense.
It's going to make him look a lot stronger in the long term, I think.
Yes. So I'll let you go for this one.
Start one of the near the start, Ziggler got Theory in a sleeper hold. Theory escapes. Knee to chin, hit by a Faymaster, but kicks out. Right near the start, there were a lot of Dolph hitting these big moves, like his finishers, and Theory was kicking out to him, and that immediately brought me back to last week when Theory was hitting Seth with all his big moves, but Seth kept kicking out. So in a way, that was like a bit of I found that as a bit of a parallel between the two matches. That Theory was able to kick out of what you thought were things that were going to put him away. So yeah, I thought that was quite a nice little touch. And Theory just seemed more aggressive in this match. He was focused on beating Ziggler because there was lots of stuff about the Ziggler calling him a kid, and you got Theory sort of saying, "Who's a kid now?" and all this, that, and
I ain't no damn kid.
Yeah, I really like how he's developing now during the match, because like at the start the crowd were all shouting, "Oh, you are stupid," but then about halfway through they're starting to count, "This is awesome."
Yes.
I think it's a bloody good match. Dolph Ziggler versus Austin Theory.
Dolph Ziggler, no matter if he's been underutilized or whatever, always provides good matches. That's one thing you can always guarantee, and that's why Dolph is here. He gave Austin Theory a good match, and that Dolph is great at what he does. He might be underutilized, yes, but he's one of those that he's very much a company person. I don't see him going anywhere outside of WWE, if I'm honest.
No.
I think when he gets called upon, he does a job, and he can do a good job.
He goes to me, it's Dolph is the same as R-Truth, someone who's underutilized but can get the job done, whatever he's doing.
Yes. A couple of things, like I said, I had here was nice backbreaker. There's a really good clothesline from Austin. Just kept ramming Ziggler into this post. Dolph, or no, it was a crowd go, "Where's your briefcase?" There's a lovely rack bomb, which looks a lot like the Rude bomb, the Bobby Roode bomb. Nice reversal into the sleeper hold. Austin Theory sees Sean. That was quite a nice thing where he had him go down, literally near to the floor, and then Austin, because he's powerhouse, just lifts him up and just starts trying to chuck him about again.
Yeah.
The Famouser, several slams into the post, then there's a reversal into a zigzag, and now
Zigzag.
at this point, I thought the zigzag is going to end up pinning him. 2.9.
Yeah, this was where I've put the this is like the Seth match last week.
Yeah, it's like kick out 2.9. Then obviously Chant, this is also, I went, yeah, you're right. A-Town down, doesn't pin him, just looks over him. He
hit him with that big right hand first of all, didn't he? And then hit the A-Town down.
This little bit here is all I needed. Is he's hit the A-Town down, he's not pinned him, but he's just leaning over it. He's physically, he looks like he's not been in a match. He looks like he's just dominant. He's just, yeah, okay, what you got for me? Dolph is out on the floor, on the mat, sorry, and Fairy's just standing over him, basically. He's just decimated Dolph Ziggler. That's the person you needed for me a year, not necessarily in that way. But this is the kind of superstar you need, Dolph Ziggler, because he can put up a good match, hit you some finishes, but then Theory just looks, he's just overpowered him.
Looks strong.
And people started chanting one more time to Austin Theory, which I'm like, he's supposed to be the biggest heel potentially in the company, and you've just gone one more time. So he does, and then he doesn't pin him again. Instead, he just gets on top of Ziggler and beats the crap out of him, and I mean the holy heckers.
He was before that. There was a nice shot of him, and he was literally frothing at the mouth. There's all like this spit drooling out of him, and he looked like a crazy guy. Then
he snapped, which is good. So he's beaten, then he just rams him into the steps. And he just constantly keeps trying to kick the crap out. Anyway, this match ends in a DQ. Which, at first... So I put this match as a 4.
I put it as a 4.5, actually.
So I degraded this to a 3.5 because of the DQ. But I then put in my notes after a bit, because I then decided to go rewatch the match. Because I actually enjoyed it that much. That I then was like, no, the DQ makes sense. He doesn't care. So I then upped it to a 4.5. At this point, I was like, I love this. This just put Theory over so much. And he's like, I ain't no damn kid.
The one bit that sort of made me sort of go, was when they were at, this was towards the end, where Dolph rolled out the ring, but Theory follows him, throws him into the ring steps, and then he flips like the steps over, and it looked like the corner of the steps hit right in the center of Dolph's face, and I went, oh... That don't look good. I've got question mark accident, or was that like planned to happen?
I reckon that was an accident, but at least Dolph sold it.
Yeah.
It was like, And it just makes him look angry. He's out of control. He can't control his anger. So in all fairness, as much as it's a case of, oh, that looked a bit... At the same time, it's, oh, damn, he's just crazy. He doesn't care. Yeah, he doesn't care who he is. So, this is the one thing I'd like to point out, right? He turns around and says he ain't no damn kid. And this is the people in my Discord. This is the people who call me Rammy Whammy. I ain't no damn kid. I'm the same age as Austin Theory. Take me... I mean, I don't look like Austin Theory. Because I tell you something, in all fairness, if I look like Austin Theory, I wouldn't be sat here. He is a very good looking man. Looks better with a beard, may I say.
Are you.
Well, thank you. Austin Theory looks better with a beard. That's the first thing I'll point out, is I've seen him where he's not got much. He looks better with like this full face of hair on his side and whatnot.
I can't see you at the moment because of the way we're set up.
I'm clean shaven.
Are you still clean shaven?
I'm still clean shaven, so yes.
You look better with a beard as well, man.
I do it, to be fair, I do. I was saying this at work, I look weird. I look a hell of a lot younger. I ain't no damn kid, right? But I look younger than what I did with... I was saying that, when I went for drinks on Tuesday at football, everyone else got ID'd and I didn't have a beard. I was clean shaven on Sunday, so but Austin Theory is the same age as me, 24. And my God, that guy has got a future ahead of him.
Yeah,
But
he's
he
got
actually
a
says,
lot of
doesn't he?
years.
He's not the future, he's the now. Which is better. He's like, yeah, actually, yeah, don't look at me in several years. I am the now. Take me seriously now. Kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, it's a good, really gimmick change for him, in all fairness. So yeah, this was a 4.5. I had Fairy to win this.
Yes, same.
And in all fairness, he didn't. Dolph did, but he won overall.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't win the match, but he definitely won the war, didn't he? Because Dolph was not in a very good state after.
Oh no, he was not.
Finished.
He was battered and bruised, which again is a good look. Now he needs to go for someone, I say, a little bit of more stature. Maybe, I don't quite know who's on the Raw roster, but you go from Dolph to someone else. It's not quite Bobby Lashley, because Bobby Lashley overpowers him and just looks more menacing. But you go for someone that's just a bit higher in terms of maybe popularity, maybe stand, just to give him that boost. What could happen, in all fairness, is if Mustafa and Austin have a match, Theory just runs through Mustafa Ali. I mean, runs through him. Then we go backstage, and here we get, obviously, what we know is Damage Control in the back. They're they're talking, and all of a sudden, we get Rhea Ripley. Yeah. Rhea Ripley comes over and says, Mia Yim's in the War Games match. I'm in the War Games match. And Damage Control went, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's cool. And Rhea goes, cool, see you later, and walks off.
So yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I actually missed this because I remember I asked you about it when we were talking last night.
So this just puts over Rhea that she's just one of those most intimidating women on the roster, and people are like, yeah, no, it's fine, absolutely, yeah, no, nothing wrong. So Rhea Ripley has now joined Damage Control and Nikki Cross for the women's Survivor Series War Games match, which now means we are missing a face. And I said this, and it's going to be one of the questions. This is going to be one of the first questions in the review. Becky Lynch or Candice LeRae for that last slot? Unless they completely surprise us.
No, it's going to be one of them.
Yeah.
I know we said we were sort of almost 100% sure it'd be Charlotte Flair to join the OC, but this I'm certain of because they're the two people that Damage Control are both effectively injured.
Yes.
In the past, and Candice LeRae more recently, and then back sort of just after SummerSlam, I think it was. Was it after SummerSlam?
Yeah, because Becky showed respect to Bianca at SummerSlam, and then got beat up because she had already injured her arm at that point, and that was the way of
then they
getting her off TV for a bit.
Yeah, did it on the Raw afterwards, didn't they? Have Damage Control beat her up.
And so what we've said is that within Becky, she's cleared. We know she's cleared. It's been out there that she's been cleared for a little while, and also she was playing Cyndi Lauper recently, which basically, I'm not quite sure how this pans out properly, but I'm pretty sure to be in some kind of role, you have to be cleared. You have to have no medical issues to go do a role in case you can't fulfill that segment as such. So we believe she is cleared. Or the injury isn't as bad as we all thought. But you have two choices here: Becky Lynch or Candice LeRae. Now, me personally, I would have Mia Yim and Rhea Ripley have that much of a battle next week on Raw that they don't participate in War Games to have their own match, which then leaves slot open for the Raw Women's, the face women, sorry. And you have Becky Lynch or Candice LeRae, you maybe put someone else. But I think it's going to be Becky Lynch. I think the big return here is Becky Lynch.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Yeah. The only thing, part of me thinks they might be saving Becky for Rumble, because that would get a huge pop for her to come out. But it does make a little bit more sense to have Becky in this Survivor Series match. To me, I mean, Candice has got War Games experience, hasn't she?
Yes.
From NXT. But yeah, I think the whole thing with Becky and showing respect to Bianca, it would make more sense for her to team up with Bianca to sort of settle this thing with Damage Control.
Yeah, it is one of those things where, like I say, for me personally, we've got Becky again. Becky would make the return. You know, the big return. She's like, oh my god, Becky's back. You know, kind of thing. It's like, oh, but at the same time, storyline wise, Candice LeRae is the, I'd say, the one kind of you need to. You want to build stars. Becky Lynch is already a star in her own name. So you don't, again, for ratings and pops, Becky Lynch, but for storyline and building a character, Candice LeRae.
Yeah, depends what way they're gonna go.
Yeah.
Like I say, for this, I probably want it to be Becky, but I think it is 50-50. I wouldn't I wouldn't put any money on it.
Yeah, it's like I say, for me, it's either way works.
Yeah, and I do think that it's going to be a good match because you've got some talented people in there. I know we've said in the past that like Oscar and Alexa didn't really have much chemistry with
Damage control.
EO and
yeah.
But
Well,
I still think this will be a good match.
That's the thing.
Games
They
match.
did it on that Raw match, but they actually made up for it in a bit with the Crown Jewel match.
Crown Jewel,
it was alright,
so
yeah.
Maybe it's just the last minute thing, the Raw match that they
possibly
decided on to set up Crown Jewel.
Yeah, I guess just give it a bit of hype behind it, possibly. And I guess it's one of those to put them on the card at that point. My personal opinion here is, and I know two people are going to be very, very upset with me, and me and you said this plenty of times, Bianca Belair might be Bianca Belair, but she is damn good at what she does, and that's why she's there.
Yeah.
Regardless if you don't like Bianca Belair, you might not. And obviously, you've each got your own taste. If we're talking ability, she has got mental ability. She has got just insane amount of ability. She's got good charisma, in all fairness. She's very much over. And a lot of people...
With the fans, at least. She's very much over.
You know, there's a lot of people that try and emulate being Bianca Belair, being the EST of WWE. Yes, the gimmick can be oversaturated a bit. But in terms of Bianca, she's a good promo. She's a good wrestler. She's got the package, in all fairness. She's a very good all-round superstar.
She's what was like we're saying about Candice, about storyline wise, this would be sort of the start of building a star. You look at what they've done for Bianca over the past 2.5 years, from where she was back then to now. She is a star. She's one of the top women in the women's division, isn't she? I'd go as far as to say she's up there with your Baileys, your Biancas, your Charlotte Flairs.
Yeah, absolutely. I say she's very much up there. I mean, Charlotte's not bad. I mean, obviously, without Charlotte being here and Becky being here, you are kind of relying on these superstars, and she does it, you know. I'm sorry, but you look at in WWE stature, right? If you had this old Survivor Series gimmick of Raw versus SmackDown champions, Bianca Belair should wipe the floor with Ronda Rousey.
Exactly, yeah.
Should. And would, in all fairness. Wrestling capacity, Ronda may be a tough son of a gun in a UFC ring, but you ain't in no UFC ring anymore.
No.
Bianca Belair is the product. She is, you know, in all fairness, for me personally, she is the pinnacle of a women's superstar.
Yep, she's got power and she's very agile as well, isn't she?
Yeah, she's talented. You know, she's got a great promo on her. She's, like I said, got all these bits and bobs that make her that superstar. Which is, like I said, is brilliant. You know, is absolutely brilliant. And there's obviously people that can follow. But again, for me here, Bianca is the women's champion for a reason.
Yeah.
And then we move on to, so I've actually got this point. We've got 1.5 pages left. Wonderful.
Yeah, we're getting near the end now, mate.
Akira versus Baron Corbin. Akira Tozawa. So, I did not see this match going the way it did. In terms of how it was controlled and whatnot.
Yeah.
I knew Baron was winning.
Yeah, that was obvious, wasn't it?
But Akira Tozawa had a good showing here.
Yeah, he definitely used his speed to his advantage, didn't he?
Yeah.
I've got Corbin dwarfs Tozawa because the size difference when they were standing in front of each other was.
You forget, do you know how tall Baron Corbin is?
No, you're going to tell me sort of 6'7", 6'5", 6'6".
I'm going to have a look for you now. Let's have a quick gander. So he's 2.03 meters, which in feet is, that's not what I asked for. In feet, that's 6'6", 6'7".
Bloody hell, yeah. He's ginormous, isn't he?
Yeah.
And you forget about that a lot of the time, but against Tozawa, you could really sort of see the size difference. I would say Tozawa was using his speed against Corbin's power, missile drop kicks, and he hit a really nice shining wizard on Corbin at one point.
Yeah.
And I thought he might actually pick up the win then. I'd like to see a bit more of Tozawa actually in Raw. It's just, he's a talented guy, but who are you going to put him against that's going to have some meaning? Difficult in it.
Yeah. My issue here is where's this leading?
Yeah, it's not. This is just another small fry for.
Yeah.
And that's not meant to be harsh against Tozawa, but it's someone that Corbin can just beat and move on, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, I've got here Akira take it to Baron Corbin, drop kick from the top rope, which is quite nice. The drop kick to the knee, again, the smaller guy going after the bigger guy's knee, makes sense. The Shining Wizard to Corbin, damn, okay. Tozawa in control, and as soon as he's in control, cut into the end of the days.
Yeah, he was on the top rope, weren't he? Caught by Corbin, end of days, and it's over.
I think a lot of this is trying to put matches out that don't need to put out. Like, one of the first Raws we ever did, and it's been a downslope from there, really.
The first one was really good, wasn't it?
My issue is there's too many matches that are getting time. So if you remember, we turned around and said, back in the old, one of the better Miz, I've just read Miz. Back in the better Raws, it was a lot of segment stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just having a quick go back to the first Raw review that we did, and then my notes at least anyway, which is here. I gave this a... Where is it? Give me a quick second to try and find. Okay, so it's here. I gave it a 4 out of 5. And the reason for this is, if I go back through the matches and stuff, we had, on the first Raw, we had the Bobby and Brock fight. Make Bobby look strong. That's all that. And then we get the OC versus Alpha Academy, which was a really good match itself.
Yeah.
That was one match. Then we had Damage Control versus Candice LeRae and someone else, I think. That was a 4 out of 5. But then before that was a lot of segment. After that was a lot of segment. We had the Cora Jade stuff and the Roxanne Perez stuff. Then we had the JBL appear promo and stuff, which is the Ziggler versus Baron, I think it was.
Corbin, yeah.
Yeah. So 3 out of 5. I was like, okay, cool. Then we had a Miz segment and stuff. We had the Bray return as well. Oh yeah, because that was on SmackDown the week before. Then we had AJ versus Dom, but again, that had meaning behind it because Dom beat AJ.
Yeah.
And then we had more Miz stuff, Damage Control stuff, Elias return, more promo stuff, and then we had the Riddle versus who was it? Riddle versus Seth, I think this was. Yeah, Riddle versus Seth because he was going for the title. Elias cost Riddle, stomps to both, and then and I give this 4 out of 5 because there wasn't that many matches. There was 3, 4, 6. No, 5 matches the whole show. And if we go to Raw today, right? So remember, 5 matches.
Yeah.
On the first one we did. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
7 or 8, I think.
6, 7. Then it will be 8. We had 8. We'll have 8 matches this episode. And I just think that at this point here, when we've got Securities out, there's too many short matches. Use these for promos. Use these for building time, building, you know, a storyline. Because those 3 matches could go into something else. But again, this is why this show is a bit further down on my list. Is because when we've got, 8 matches on the show, yeah, it's not bad, but we don't have to have matches. Save the matches for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You don't have to do match. Have them have a segment together. Baron Corbin and Cesaro could have just had the segment, and then you had them on next week's Raw. It's like, oh, he's lost at Thingy and he wants to get revenge back at Cesaro because, he beat him at poker. So next week on Raw, you have a match between them.
Yeah, that'd be work a bit better.
You don't have to, because at this point here, we've got 25 minutes left with Seth and Finn.
Yeah. My big issue with this is I was watching this. I watched this on the Tuesday, and as I wasn't watching it live, I watched it without adverts. And I'm looking at the time counter. Now, Raw's a 3-hour show, so the way I watched it, it was in 3 parts. First part was 54 minutes, and part 2 and part 3 were both 38 minutes, so say 40 minutes each. So that's 2 hours 20-ish, roughly. Yeah. So you're looking at 40 minutes of ads in a 3-hour show.
Ridiculous.
And then you're getting all these sort of short, crappy matches.
Yeah.
Just cut Raw down to a 2-hour show, get rid of a few of these crap matches and put a few extra segments in, and you're fine. 3 hours is, quite frankly, ridiculous when you're getting matches of this quality. They don't need to be in there, like you said.
This is why SmackDown, and yes, we've got Roman on SmackDown, but before we start making superstar references, SmackDown works well because it's a 2-hour show. I will happily wait those 2 hours to see Bray Wyatt cut a promo at the end. Albeit he didn't. He cut one in off the start with Eli Drake, which was okay. Hello. But I'd happily sit there for 2 hours to watch SmackDown, and I love doing the SmackDown reviews because it's 2 hours. I'll be honest, I said Saul yesterday, I was like, I can't be bothered for Raw. It's 3 hours. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, God. And whilst I do enjoy watching Raw, these are the reasons why it is annoying, because stuff like this is essentially, you could just save time here. Yes, you have your good matches here and there, and I'm not saying save all your good matches for the pay-per-view, but a lot of it feels to me as if you're trying to do the old stuff of the thingy where Hulk Hogan used to have matches against jobbers week in, week out. And then at the pay-per-view, he'd face a big star.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. Oh my God. Because they always used to keep them to jobbers. Now, because we've been that saturated with superstar against superstar, we don't get jobbers no more. Really.
No.
The jobbers you have are the ones that come to Raw for that one episode and then go do whatever indie stuff they're doing after.
I think it was up till about 97 on Raw that they regularly, it was jobbers for probably about, back then Raw was only an hour, and it was sort of like you'd have 3 or 4 matches, you'd have 3 jobber matches and 1 match with what was top tier talent, but it'd normally be sort of 2 low or mid carders facing each other.
Yeah, so
yeah,
it's incredible to me, really. So for the last bit here, I give it 2 out of 5. I said Akira, talented but easy to forget.
I gave it a 2. Some nice moves by Akira, but I just knew where this was going, and it wasn't long. They could have done, like you say, done something else at this time.
Yeah. Then we move on to the last match of the episode, which is Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the US title.
Seth freaking Rollins.
I'm gonna frick somebody in a minute. First thing I put, Rollins is so over. So over. Like, he literally, earlier on, he cut the promo, I am a visionary. I'm a revolutionary, I am. And then the crowd goes, Seth freaking Rollins. Anyone else does that, you're not getting that response. Simple. Yeah.
Oh, we did have a little bit before this. Kathy Kelly with Bianca's team saying that, Rhea's joined Damage Control. Who are you? Next week, we're having a 1 versus 1 match to decide who gets the advantage in War Games. They're being smart baby faces and not telling revealing who they're going to send in as their person.
This is probably where I dropped my phone.
Then Alpha Academy turned up, talk about wins against Riddle and Elias, setting up a tag match.
No, for God's sake.
And then Seth's walking along and he's doing his theme, but instead of oh, he's going through as he walks past the Alpha Academy.
That sounds amazing. This is legit where I think I dropped my phone.
And the Alpha Academy are doing the conducting with him.
Oh, brilliant.
So yeah. And then we had a little bit with Finn just accepting AJ's challenge. He says there's unfinished business between him and Seth, first of all, though. It's going back to the injury he suffered at Seth's hands when he won I think it was the Universal title for the first time, but had to relinquish it after the match because he was injured. And then we get Seth coming down.
So yeah, at this point, not that it's that important, but I end up dropping my phone. And my screen is completely fine, but the LED behind it has faded. So whilst my phone will go off and give me notifications, and I can tap on my screen, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So in all of this, I would like to blame Baron Corbin.
Yes, blame Corbin.
He's got enough money, so he can buy me a new phone. Or preferably just fix my phone, one of the two. So Corbin, it's your fault. Right, moving on. Seth versus Finn. So yes, Rollins is. I mean, I don't want to get ended days by Baron, in all fairness.
No.
But yeah, here you go. If you want to take over.
So crowd popping for Seth as he comes out. Once again, all singing his song as he comes down. And one of the things I liked is he got right in Balor's face. Even before the announcer announced him, he sort of just walked straight up to Balor, lifted up his title like that, and he was pretty much nose to nose with him. And all the time, the crowd was singing Seth's tune. Then we got the match started, and almost straight away we had a really long headlock by Finn, and to me it looked like he was holding on to it for about 2 minutes. Whatever Seth did, he just couldn't get out of the headlock. I like this because these guys are both hugely talented guys.
Yes.
And just to see them sort of grappling and exchanging moves and counters was so good, especially after some of the matches we'd already seen tonight on Raw. Felt like we got something decent at the end. Seth, once he'd got out the headlock, Seth leaps to the outside, taking out Corbin, and then leans against the barricade as the crowd are all singing behind him. And he's quite nonchalant, sort of leaning on it like that. I thought that was a nice little moment. Then it cut to the ad breaks, and I'll let you sort of take over with some of your thoughts on the match from there.
So, yeah, we've got, as I say, Rollins in control, ad break and stuff. I put great chemistry as always. This is one of those matches that is just, brilliant. So, for me here, my only issue is that, how can I put this? They need more time here. I say 25 minutes, but there's an ad break already, and I think I run into another ad break a bit further on.
Yeah, there's the second one, yeah.
And it's just very annoying because I just wish sometimes these matches don't have ad breaks because I miss the action. Like, we go from Rollins in control to we come back, Balor's just stomping away. I'm like, what have I missed? You know, what's gone on during the ad break that is that thingy I've missed. You know what I mean? Like,
forgive me if I'm wrong, but even NXT has picture-in-picture, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, NXT has picture-in-picture. I don't understand why Raw and SmackDown, unless it's the companies that are above them, won't let them. But NXT has picture-in-picture, and it's amazing when we have picture-in-picture because I can keep up with what's going off. And then I realise, oh, that's what's happened. But yeah, we go from Rollins being in control to Balor stomping away.
Yeah.
Again, great chemistry, great sling blade, close pinfall, and then we go back. We're going back to the old injury of Finn. I think it was. He got the buckle bomb into the barricade that gave him the injury to start off with.
Yeah.
Both missed the finishes. There's a really great pin into a powerbomb combo. This is awesome. Chance again.
Yeah.
Which it was not as awesome as Theory and Dolph.
No,
but it still was amazing in its own right, personally. And how the hell do you land a Phoenix Splash? Right? He lands the Phoenix. He goes for the Phoenix Splash, and Seth lands it. I'm sorry, but I can't even land on my own 2 feet jumping off the second rope. No matter about doing a Phoenix Splash off the top. It's ridiculous. There was a bit where we get a super. Oh yeah, so he goes for the superplex, Seth off the top, and as he hits the superplex, he gets back up. Finn then reverses it into the 1916.
Yes,
and he nearly dropped him on the tip of his head here. That look. I mean, to be fair, I'm guessing it was probably safe. But damn, did that look brutal.
Yeah, it was. When that Seth goes for the superplex, and then when it got rolled through, but Balor then got the 1916. That I was just like, damn, that is insane.
It looked painful. Then we get a really great sense of reversals, and then we get Seth hitting the Falcon Arrow. Which again was a really. I love the Falcon Arrow, and of course, all of a sudden.
When he, because I wasn't sure about this, when he hit the Falcon Arrow, they did mention that the Seth hadn't covered him properly because it seemed to take the referee a fair while to start the count.
Yeah.
And I afterwards I thought, okay, fair enough. But originally I thought, I didn't know whether the referee was slow on his starting the count or whatever. But I suppose they explained that away with saying that Seth wasn't in the right position. But to me, it looked like he had him pinned with his shoulders down.
Yeah. I saw that myself and I was just like, And yeah, they basically turned around and said, oh, great play from the ref here. Great awareness because he's noticed that Seth's or Finn's thing wasn't down. So I think they turned around and commentary said that his arms weren't down properly. And I'll let you finish off here.
Just going back to nearer the start of this match, Seth got thrown into the corner of the announce desk.
Yes.
And sort of like injured his abdomen. And throughout the match, sort of Finn was doing abdominal stretches and beating on his core. And so sort of trying to work over the center of Seth's body for the majority of the match. Then coming towards, we then had all that stuff with the Falcon Arrow and all that. At that point, Judgment Day run out to support Balor. He almost scores a roll up.
Yeah, so quickly something to note here. Finn Balor was not out when Dom was having his match with Shelton Benjamin. It was only Rhea Ripley and Dominic that was out at the time.
Damien, you're doing the same as me now. I'm calling him Dominic.
Yeah, so when Dom was having his match, it was Damien and the ball. Rhea, there's too many superstars. So basically, Finn wasn't with the other lot of the Judgment Day in their match. Finn was separate, but of course, Judgment Day had to come out here, didn't they? Because,
Of course, yeah. Because it's Judgment Day. Turn up, they distract Seth. Finn almost gets a roll up. And then to even the odds, Damage Control come out and start fighting the Judgment Day. And this is where it sort of all degenerated a bit, didn't it? Because at one point, I think it was Anderson, it was either Gallows or Anderson, one of the two. They were both in the ring. Anderson was in there with Dom, and he sort of clotheslined Dom out of the ring. And there's brawling all over the place. AJ and Gallows or Anderson again, and Dom and Daniel, they're all fighting by the barricades and going out into the crowd. And this sort of distracted a bit from the match that was going on, which was a great match at the time. And then you sort of cut back to the ring, and I think Finn was on the floor for some reason. I think AJ might have hit him with something beforehand, but Seth saw his chance, hit a curb stomp, and got the 3 count.
Yeah.
It was very chaotic at the end, and then it gets even more chaotic after Seth gets the win.
So, just, so as you said, OC out, dropped it to Finn, as you said, all this, stomp, 1 to 3. Seth wins with a lot of distractions everywhere. I give this match a 3 out of 5 before we carry on.
Yeah, I gave it a 3 out of 5 as well. I didn't think it was as good as the Dolph match.
No.
But definitely probably the second best match on this card, easily.
This is, again, one of those matches you can tease for a pay-per-view, PLE match. My bad, WWE, my bad. This is one of those ones you can advertise as a PLE match and have them tease it and then give a banger. Such as the SmackDown match with the Usos and New Day when they teased it on Raw. So, like, it's one of these matches. But yeah, then we get Austin Theory. He comes down and he just obliterates Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Oh my! I love this version of Austin.
Yeah,
he just ran through Seth. He looks like a monster in all fairness, and like I said, he's built like a monster. People forget that because of the way he acts, people don't look at him for how he looks and what he is. Because he acts like a kid, nobody cares. As soon as he acts serious, you then realise he's built. He is built more than Seth. He is, as I said to you before, he's got John Cena level build on him. You know, he's a massive guy kind of thing. He works out, and he, like I say, he's damn talented as well. I just love this version of Austin. So yeah, he takes a crab and he grabs a championship and just smacks him over the head with it.
Yeah, nailed him with it, didn't he?
This for me was a great championship sell. Seth just jumps and lays himself out with it basically, which is great. Again, just
I've got here losing Money in the Bank was the best thing for Theory. He looks dangerous now. Need to keep this up over the next few weeks.
Yeah, this is where Austin can definitely become a proper good like a heel, because he aggressive. You know, he's frothing at the mouth earlier on, as we said. Just everything about him has changed thanks to this Money in the Bank. He's lost the Money in the Bank, and he's like, oh look, you know, I got, it was an anchor over my head, blah this, and he's accepted that. But it's like it's time to show people I don't need a Money in the Bank to be that damn good.
Yeah,
I can do without. You know, no, the Money in the Bank held me back. And yes, he's lost it, but look, John Cena lost it, and look where John Cena was. One of the biggest superstars in the company. Hell, Baron Corbin lost it. In all fairness, look how he's done. He's done well for himself.
Yeah.
You know.
Apart from when he lost all this money.
Well, yeah, there's that. But apparently his paychecks from WWE weren't enough, were they not?
No.
So, the show. What rating did you give the show?
I actually gave it 3.5.
Damn, I gave it 2.5. That's a crap. The two highlights for me were the matches.
Yeah, both the Dolph match and the
Seth and
Finn match. Yeah. I like some of the segments in it. I like the sort of the story between Damage Control and Bianca's group. I'm quite invested in now because there's lots of little things sort of linking everything together. I mean, like, think about it. Rhea and Nikki Ash were tag team champions for a while, weren't they? And they're on the same team now. So I just like the whole sort of thing, and I'm looking forward to finding out who the fifth member of the babyface team will be.
No, that doesn't apply. Quite a bit.
But there was a lot of dross in it as well with the matches and some of the segments.
It's what you said. Cut it down to 2 hours and you don't have this issue. They're trying to fill a third hour, which I just don't think works. You know, it just doesn't work, unfortunately. So, you know, there is that. But we now come on to our favourite part, well, for me anyway. The best and worst wrestler of the show.
Right, I was worried about worst wrestler to start with because I thought there's no Omos. But then once I thought about it, it became quite easy.
Okay.
So I'll let you go first.
So my best wrestler of the week is Austin Theory. I think that's a no-brainer this week.
Shout. Yeah.
For me at least,
great.
anyway. Yeah. Just this was amazing from Austin. You know, he's already reinvented himself on the Money in the Bank. As we said, he's just got this really killer instinct now. He's got this, you know, anger about him, and he looks, and do you know what, he pulls it off. His promos are great. His in-ring work is great. It's time to actually show Austin Theory to the audience what he can properly do. You know, it's time to show him as him. There's a reason he's 24 and already where he is, because he's that damn talented.
Yeah.
Yes, Vince McMahon wants to push him to the moon, or did want to push him to the moon. He does deserve that push to the moon, but not the way McMahon was doing it.
Yeah, giving the Money in the Bank. And,
yeah. Now it's time, look, you do this on your own. No Money in the Bank gimmick, no nothing. Prove to people you're as good as what you look, basically, and what you say you are.
I wouldn't be surprised at some point we don't get a triple threat for the US title with Bobby Lashley, Seth, and Theory, and I wouldn't be surprised if Theory won it.
Yeah.
I can see that happening. Yeah. And that will then sort of, yes, he didn't win his cash in on Money in the Bank, but he looks even stronger for winning a triple threat with those guys in it.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a good thing to have happen. But I'm not booking WWE, unfortunately.
And the worst wrestler of the week for me, I'll be honest, I struggle with this slightly. There's two.
Tamina.
One of them's Tamina.
Yeah.
The other is Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, and that's not because of his talent either. It's because he's been used crap again.
It's crap booking, yeah. It's Tamina, because she's just crap. I'm sorry, Tamina, but you are. There's no point giving me and him that match. No point giving anyone that match. It doesn't do anything for anyone. Tamina's just there.
No.
But if we're talking booking, it's Shelton Benjamin. He lost to Dominic Mysterio clean. I'm sorry, I can't. For me as a fan, he shouldn't be winning, and I get why he's winning, but it's like, just have him lose. It's fine to have Dominic lose. You know what I mean? He's a bratty little kid. Have them lose, you know what I mean? It's fine. You don't have to have them keep winning everything. I'm pretty sure, because we said this before, didn't we? They just kept losing until they became a bit more serious when they did that to Edge and Beth. And now they've gone back down this gimmick hole of, we're dorky little college kids, basically. That's going through a phase as such. Damien, Rhea, and Finn are great. Dom? Nah. So, for me, Shelton Benjamin is one of the worst. For booking reasons only, and Tamina is just worse because she is the worst. Yeah. But yeah, my best is Austin Theory.
Definitely agree. Same for me.
Yeah.
Austin Theory was incredible this week. His promos, his new attitude. I believe he made me believe that he was dangerous. He made me believe that he was pissed off about losing. Because what happened last week could have got, if they hadn't done this week, it could have looked really bad. Made him look quite weak and a bit of a failure, and like the crowd were already sort of chanting, "Oh, that was stupid," and all this, that, and the other. So it was a real concern that they were going to turn him into a bit of a joke, but they've done the complete opposite and made him a serious, dangerous individual.
Yeah.
Now, just wanting to keep it up.
We look at what you said earlier. This is stupid to this is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, his in-ring ability changed people's opinions outright. And you're worst.
Tamina. Like I say, I'd agree with you about Shelton's booking, but if it's just the worst actual wrestler and what they did, it was Tamina. I mean, at least Shelton was, because he was in control for a lot of the match and he was beating on Dom, so at least he showed that he can wrestle.
Yeah,
whereas
even Dana got some wrestling in.
Yeah.
You know, Dana, Curtis Howard got wrestling in. Tamina got nothing. She went for one splash, missed, and got eat defeat.
Yeah, and like you said, she couldn't even sell that. So
yeah. Well, that is all we have this episode, basically.
from our very late Raw.
Yes, again, this will be hosted within the next. Well, you will see this obviously when it's posted out, but for us, you'll be seeing it in like the hour or two after we actually recorded this. Again, next week, just to make you very much aware, the Raw review will be coming later than usual. I am working now Tuesdays. There's Tuesday I've got a late. The next Tuesday after that I'm early, so it'll be on time as such. But there's a couple of Tuesdays I've got to fill in for here and there.
He's a man in demand.
I'm very much a man in demand. I'm a very busy guy recently.
These are true facts.
So obviously work's work. I can't, drop that.
Work comes first. Yeah. That's what we've always said, isn't it?
Yeah. But you will be getting the Raw reviews regardless. When I finish, it'll be straight back onto Raw review, record it, get it out as quick as possible. Again, it's just took us until today to do this week's review because things pop up as they do. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys for the support on these reviews. It has been absolutely incredible. We appreciate it massively.
Yes, we do.
If you've not already, make sure you go follow Saul's Twitch and Twitter down there. Obviously, the Twitch being AcidicSaul09 and the Twitter being VickersSaul. So make sure you go follow. I like to
make things complicated.
He does indeed. Whereas mine are both MrRammyWooWoo lot. Got my noggin on.
Well, I would change me Twitch, but you told me what a ball like it was when you changed your one.
Yeah,
so
that's a different video, but in the nice way possible. If you could change your Twitch name, don't. That's the only advice I'm gonna give you on that one. Without further ado, guys, thank you all for watching. It's been a pleasure as always.
Peace out, everyone.
And I will catch you on Saturday for the
SmackDown.
I've got football on that day. I'm off early. You will get the SmackDown. Yeah, you'll get the SmackDown review on Saturday. So basically, quick for you guys at home. SmackDown will finish at 3 AM. I will probably record the SmackDown review till 4, maybe 5 AM, and you will have it on the Saturday at some point during the day whilst I am out playing football. So you will have the SmackDown review on Saturday. Don't worry, I'll make sure of it, even if it does knock me out. Also, one more thing. World Cup starts this weekend. Good luck to England.
Yes,
come on, England. Good luck to England. World Cup is starting, and obviously we have the World Cup on SmackDown, which we'll see what happens there. But yes, thank you guys all for watching. Peace.
Later on. Bye.